I said this before. Can't say I didn't warn you when it happens, but I am predicting right now a Republican comeback in 20, very likely to happen. Very likely to happen indeed. You know, right now we are on the brink of another Great Depression. Unemployment, people being evicted, thrown out of their apartments, out of their homes. We have a healthcare system due to the profit motive is actually destroying working individuals and working families due to medical debt, medical inflation. And we had this COVID. And this COVID, our politicians do exactly the opposite what other countries have actually been doing, being proactive. When people were laid off in the UK or in Canada, they found a way to supplement their salaries, or at least 80% of their salaries, things like that. And we're sitting there kind of just like, do we give them $2,000 or not? Well, we gonna give them 2,000. Well, we already gave them 600. We'll give them 1,400 when we get around to it. Oh, let's means test it. And as I said, in other countries, they're giving a UBI basically, or having their unemployment checks where they're getting the majority of their salary, so the people won't have to unduly suffer. Income equality keeps on getting out of control. We need a $15 hour minimum wage. And that wasn't too much to ask for Joe Biden. I didn't expect the world from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. But $15 an hour would have been the biggest victory in decades for the labor movement in this country. I'm not talking about the little minimum wage increase we had on $5 an hour. I'm not talking about in 2007 when the minimum wage was raised to 7.25 an hour. We're talking about jumping it from 7.25 an hour to 50 will make it a living wage as a baseline throughout all 50 states. Yeah, some states it's going to be more than $15 an hour, but it's a baseline where you're guaranteeing that you keep an equal playing field. Now, for some reason, we have people that have a mindset that having an equal playing field, how an equal outcome. We couldn't even get a damn minimum wage increase because we had the you had that arrogant Joe Manchin and the other turncoat corporate Democrats, including the little hipster lady from Arizona sashaying around. Oh no, criticizing her as sexist. What about the corporate hick from West Virginia? What about the other buffoons that call themselves Democrats that go around and vote down a minimum wage increase? I have more respect. I have more respect for the Republican caucus that at least they operated by a unified principle. It was wrong and cruel to be against the minimum wage, but at least they were honest. The dagger is actually being bludgeoned against you by the Republicans. But those corporate Democrats, they take that dagger and they stab you in the back with it. That's basically how it feels. It was, as I said, you're being done dirty. And as I said, I don't ask. Well, some people say you ask too much. I'm only asking for the United States to be like any other Western democracy, where uh, a good chunk of the workforce belongs to a labor union, where medical care is available as a guaranteed right. Long vacation times, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks paid vacations for every employee. Generous retirement plan, free college. And these are not that's not free stuff. It's just common sense what good societies do for the people. The Democrats know how to screw themselves over. I'm convinced of that. 1992, Bill Clinton got elected. By 1994, the Democrats lost the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate for the first time since the 1950s. Early 50s was the last time that the country had a Republican House and a Republican Senate with a Republican president on top of that. Sad thing is that bunch of Republicans back then were more progressive than the Clinton bunch of Democrats that got defeated in 1994. The top marginal tax rate back then was 91%. Just what happened. After 12 years in the wilderness with the Democrats, they got back in power in 2006. And again, when Obama became president, they were too scared to govern, and they were called socialists. And they were trying so hard, bless their little hearts, they were trying so hard to convince the Tea Party people that they're basically not all that different from moderate Republicans. And they lost the House and the Senate under Obama, and the country shifted further to the right. A few more states became right to work states, and there was the New Deal consensus started to fracture even more. But you couldn't tell a Tea Party person that we're under socialism. Dirty little secret is that there was more socialism under Dwight Eisenhower than there was under Bill Clinton or Barack Obama with regard to their presidency, or now with Joe Biden. The federal jobs guarantee. Dirty little secret also that jobs guarantee is actually the law of the land. It's called the um, the Full Employment Act of 1978, the Humphrey Hawkins Act. Little do people know that we are actually guaranteed or by law to a living wage job right now, March 9th, 2021. We live in a country that there is a law that guarantees us a living wage job. It's not being enforced. It's not being enforced at all. Now, if it's a law that would take away people's rights, or it's a law that would punish people, they'd be damn sure to enforce that. But if it's a law that's guarantee people employment where they can have a living wage job, Nada. Those 8 Democrats, 7 Democrats, and the one independent, and no, not Bernie Sanders, the independent, the other one, Angus King of Maine, Joe Manchin, Kirsten Sinema, John Tester, Chris Coon, Gene Shaheen, Hassan. I mean, all of those folks that voted against giving people a living wage to create that universal national baseline. I mean, here's the thing: Republican voters, Republican, they voted for Donald, but when the referendum to raise the minimum wage came on the ballot for $15 an hour, a lot of those people that voted for Trump also voted for a minimum wage increase. Democrats, even Republicans, $15 wage, $15 an hour living wage is a winning issue. I just am astounded because this $15 an hour minimum wage, and I remember years ago when they were debating raising the minimum wage from 4.25 to 5.25 an hour in the 1990s, and I remember watching the Rush Limbaugh TV show and him saying, "You know who favors raising the minimum wage? It's the big labor unions, because if you raise the minimum wage for these low skill unskilled workers, their wages are going to go up." Yes, I don't see any problem with that. We need we need a peaceful revolution, but a revolution just the same. And as I said, if the Democrats can't do something as basic as increase the wages to as basic as increase the wages to $15 an hour. And I'm going to say this till I'm blue in the face. We're going to need to have an independent labor party. An independent labor party akin to our neighbors to the north, the New Democratic Party of Canada, or the British Labour Party in the UK, or the Irish Labour Party, or the Australian Labour Party, or the New Zealand Labour Party. A socialist party with the labor movement being the main engine, the electoral motor, so to speak. Because frankly, the Democrats are not, they're, they're not willing to fight. And I'm talking about the progressives, talking about the allies in Congress. Medicare for all we need. Could even get a force to vote. Could even, do that. And they won. The corporatists won. That Democratic majority, however slim, in the Senate and in the House, I can almost guarantee is going to go and disappear. But what will they do? They'll blame the left and then shift the party further right. And then you're going to have even some decent Democrats saying, "Well, we got to go keep fighting." Well, welcome back to 1994 and welcome back to 2010. That's all I got to say. And that's what's going to keep repeating. And then you're going to end up with Tom Cotton or Ted Cruz or someone like that as your president, we're doomed. We really are. Sorry to be a Debbie Downer today, but as these are my reflections. If you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you don't, comment anyway. Uh, Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you that if you have a platform, please create one and utilize it because we're the muckmakers of our time. Feel free also to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And until next time, I am American social democracy. Peace, class struggle yesterday, today, tomorrow, until we achieve full and economic social justice for all.